my beautiful friends, it's Sid. I go by the blind artisan because I am a visually impaired artist on a mission to become the best artist I can possibly be, and I'm so honored that you're here. In my videos, I typically like to create art and talk about topics that I feel are really important to me. And one topic that has been on my mind these days has been the idea of productivity and how it applies to artists. So, if that's a topic that you're interested in, I would love to share my thoughts with you and hear yours as well. So, sit back, relax, grab a cozy drink, your sketchbook, and let's have a cozy drawing yapping session together. When I think of productivity, I often think of someone being hard at work at something. And somehow, even though us artists, I feel like we work very hard, I think a lot of our process of enjoying the world and seeing the world and being around beautiful people that inspire our work is also just as productive. And it kind of makes me think that what society has maybe deemed as productive, or maybe what I've gathered from society that is productivity, isn't exactly accurate. It almost feels like the standards weren't really built for artists. And I say this because I feel like the artistic process is just so sacred, and it's one that doesn't need to be rushed. It's one that is created. Art is one of those things that is created based on intuition, based on feeling, based on inspiration. And yes, it's easy to put yourself in front of a canvas and sit there, but to come up with a concept that really speaks volumes, that will speak to others, that will feel like you are being heard and like your voice is translating onto the canvas, isn't something that can be forced. And this even applies to other forms of art like music and like writing. I wonder if it is hard to force those things, hard to just sit down and force something out of you versus just letting it flow when the time is right. And sometimes those times are really, really random, like at 2 o'clock in the morning. And other times, those feelings, that inspiration, those paint strokes, they come when they need to, when it's convenient. But the thing is, I just feel like the artistic process isn't meant to be convenient, but it's meant to be powerful. And maybe that's why I feel like it doesn't fall into today's idea of productivity, but it's still productive, all of it. On this topic of productivity, one of the biggest things that I feel is so underrated is the power of knowing yourself. A lot of times when I look at different productivity models of how to be the best productive person ever, there's always this sort of structured plan. And I've noticed that as someone who has anxiety, over planning is something that overwhelms me. But that took a lot of digging for me to sort of unpack. It took sitting with myself, experiencing that. But the thing is, not every plan is going to work for everyone. And it's really important to know yourself, to know your triggers, to know your barriers. Why do you not want to do certain things? For me, sometimes I don't want to approach certain projects because I'm afraid I will fail, because I have that anxiety. So how can I alleviate that anxiety? How can I make my situation a little bit more comfortable? Sometimes I have anxiety about working on a project because I feel like I need to look perfect because I am filming. And so maybe I will approach that project but not film this time around. Sometimes it's all about just working with yourself and doing what's best for you and finding different ways of being productive that are still elements of self-care and being gentle with yourself. Because I feel like there is this how would I say it? Because I feel like productivity doesn't have to be so hardcore, so rigid. It can be gentle, it can be loving, it can be, honestly, I think productivity is an act of self-love in some cases, right? Like rest is productive. But the point is, once you get to sort of know yourself and understand yourself, you can help implement certain systems into your life that are catered to you and that are specialized for you and that feel perfect for you. And that leads me into today's sponsor, which is Clickup. Clickup is a project management app that is specially designed to organize all your projects any element of your life. For me, I've sort of organized my ClickUp into different boards or spaces, which are admin work, social media, personal work, and client work. And these are the main areas of my life that I feel like I have the most projects going on in. But in those spaces, then I can section them out into different individual projects. And then from there, I can have different lists. And it's really cool because what I really love about the app is that it can be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. For me, I feel like I've taken a more simplified approach by just adding in projects I'm currently working on now. And then when I add in my projects, I'll add in lists that talk about the different phases of the project that I'll need to sort of complete, such as the mood boarding phase, the sketching phase, the color study phase, and the final rendering phase. And I can assign myself different deadlines so that I can sort of plan backwards and know that I have all of my projects in one space. And for me, this has helped me feel a lot more in control, especially as somebody who has anxiety, which honestly makes me feel out of control in a lot of different areas of my life. It feels really, really good to be in control in this one. And what's even cooler is that I can see my days at a glance and see what is actually important for me to do, because something that I often struggle with is executive dysfunction and just being overwhelmed by all the different things I have to do. Everything is equally as important right now. So being able to look and be like, okay, this is what I actually need to get done today, even though these other projects are exciting and they are important right now, this is the priority. And that has helped me so much. I really enjoy the simplified layout of ClickUp, but I also love the fact that you can expand it to however you want to. And not to mention, I love the fact that like it is so satisfying to check something off. It feels like giving myself a high five. It feels like a win, and it honestly makes me feel like I want to get more and more done, which is super cool too. I also love that it's a centralized space, because for me, for a long period of time, I would write on different sticky notes, all my tasks, all my notes from meetings, and they would get all lost and jumbled up, and it would cause me even more stress. So to know that I have a centralized space where all my stuff will always be, no matter if I lose my sticky notes, because I do still write things down. It always helps me to remember things, to write things down. It just helps a ton just to know that I can pick up my phone, my tablet, my laptop, and have all of my plans, all of my projects at my fingertips. So if you want to give ClickUp a try, you can try it for free by clicking the link here, or also by clicking the link in my description. And if you love it as much as I do, then you can also use code TheBlindArtisan for 20% off of your upgrade when you're ready to upgrade. I can't express enough how good it feels to be taking control in this area of my life. And I hope that ClickUp has the same impact for you in your life, and that you customize it in a way that works wonderfully for you. Thank you so much to ClickUp for sponsoring this video, and thank you so much to you for making these opportunities possible. It means the entire world. And all in all, no matter what system you use, just know that I am rooting for you. Make sure you take time to get to know who you are. You are so important. You are so unique. And so the way that you function will be unique too, and that's okay. It's honestly a beautiful thing. Taking the time to analyze what productivity means to me and what I would like it to look like for me has been a beautiful journey. I think it has been one that has opened myself up to a little bit more self-compassion and self-love, because a lot of times I admire the people who are super hyper productive and on top of things, but the truth is, it is okay to create your own life, your own schedule, your own routines that work for you. And something else that's helped is it's helped me love myself more. And what I mean by that is that I'm able to sit at my canvas and provide myself a cozy drink or a historical movie or anything that I'm interested in that sort of keeps me entertained, and it makes it feel even more fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, painting and creating is always so much fun, but adding little elements to keep it interesting, especially when you're taking it seriously to a point where it's part of your job, it's really nice to add these extra interesting elements to sort of mix things up a little bit. I think also something that's helped is that I've saved room for me to explore my creativity in different ways, like making mugs and making t-shirts and just seeing my art in different forms. I think has helped keep things interesting, just so that when I am a little bit burnt out from drawing on my tablet or painting or anything like that, I have something that I can do with my hands that still fills my creative cup and still fills me with so much satisfaction, because it's really hard for me to go days without creating. It's a part of me. I've heard this one saying that was like, once an artist, always an artist. And I always feel like that's true. If you have been an artist before, you're always an artist. You'll always think like one. And it's always really great, whether creating art is something that you're pursuing for a full-time job or if it's something that's just for fun, to implement it into your day-to-day in any way. So something that I've also been doing is just implementing time each day to allow myself to just sit in front of the canvas. Even if I just draw a few lines on the canvas, that is a successful day. It's really helped me redefine my measures of success. And instead of measuring it in how long I get something done or how quickly I finish a piece, it's just, hey, did I show up to the canvas today? And if I did, I feel successful, even if I drew one line, one paint stroke. And showing myself this level of compassion has been a really healing moment for me. And it's something I want to share because I feel like as artists and as people in general, we need to be a little bit more gentle with ourselves and to give ourselves a little bit more compassion and love, because that is how we come out with our best work instead of feeling like we have to rush or feeling this unnecessary pressure. It's always supposed to be fun and passionate. And when I've allowed myself to come back to that, I realized I've been enjoying my craft way more, and I've been enjoying taking things slow, which has been really nice. And I think that's why I've been loving coming back to this piece, because as I'm taking things slow, I've been able to sort of change my mind, realign things, and it's been really great. Like, not every decision feels permanent, which also alleviates some of my anxiety when it comes to approaching the canvas. So yeah, I just feel like it's really important to be kind to yourself, but also to give yourself the space to create. I think it's a little bit of mix of discipline with saying, hey, every day at this time, I'm going to at least dedicate this time to my craft, but also that mix of softness of, hey, if I don't come up with something great today, that is okay. And loving your inner child, loving yourself, and reminding yourself that it is okay. And every single step is a step in the process, a step towards a completed painting. And times like this remind me of just like the importance of slowing down, and how back in the day, people would take years on paintings. People would take so much time. And now that we live in a time where social media is a thing and people are posting every day, I find that it's almost rebellious to just take your time on your art and to treat it like it's something sacred. But it's something I've been trying to nurture more, because I'm able to learn a lot from myself in that way. And I find that I gather more from my experiences and my times at the canvas when I do take things slow instead of rushing through and maybe making careless mistakes. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. What are your views on productivity, and how do you navigate showing up to the canvas and balancing discipline with intuition and motivation and inspiration? Because I feel like it's tricky as artists. It's almost an art in itself, don't you think? So I figure I should probably talk about this piece a little bit. This piece is a contender for my zodiac series for Gemini, which I have been working on for so long now. Honestly, it's been about a year since, maybe a little bit more than a year, since I released a new piece for my zodiac series. And I think it's partially because of people's expectations towards it, since I kept going with it, it became a lot of pressure and I got overwhelmed. And for Gemini, I've come up with several different versions, but I didn't really like how they came out. And so I'm giving it another try with this one. And this one's inspired by Steven Universe with this character Garnet, who is actually made out of two gems, sapphire and ruby. And so I thought it would be really cool to create a character that has a blue side and a red side, and those sides are starkly different, but they make purple, to represent the two sides of Gemini. And then these snakes are kind of like fusing them together, both being warm and cool. And I don't know, I just really fell in love with the concept and with the show, and so it was really cool to implement a similar concept into this piece. If you've ever seen Steven Universe, let me know. But yeah, I just love how it's coming out so far. I think that one of the most crucial parts of the creative process is finding inspiration, and that comes from indulging in the things that you love. And for me, that has to be plants. I am a plant lover. I just know that one day my whole room, my whole home is going to look like a jungle. I love them so much, and I just feel like plants have really great energy. But I think there's something beautiful about indulging in your space, indulging in the things that you love, and letting the mundane moments inspire you. Whether it's pruning your plants, vacuuming your floors, and you notice a really cool pattern on your carpet, and how it can all translate into your art. I think it's so beautiful how the world is just so gorgeous and unique, that not to mention that even the ways that our space looks is indicative to the way that our aesthetic is, and how beautiful that is too, how wonderful our minds are, and how it shows up in every aspect of our life is just a wonderful, magical thing, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't think the inspiration part of the process should be underestimated. And I know that for me, for the longest time, I just was like, screw the brainstorming, screw the thumbnails, screw finding inspiration. I just want to draw. And now it's so funny. I feel like I've come full circle to a point where it's like, actually, these slow moments are what makes my paintings and my art mine. It's what makes your art yours, and it shouldn't be slept on. It shouldn't be underestimated. I mean, our own life experiences is probably what has drawn us to all create art. Like, for instance, this is funny, but when I was a kid, my mom, she asked me how I wanted to decorate my room, and I was like, I want it to be like the outside. I wanted to sleep outside. As you can tell, I was always a little earthy kid. And it's funny because I kind of stayed the same, but my art has always been really earthy, really different in that way. And that's just indicative to just how deep that inspiration goes, how deep our experiences and how they are, how they reflect in our work. But anyway, in conclusion to that story, my mom actually like painted clouds on my ceiling, like made it look like the sky, made around the walls look like grass, and it was just like so cute. And she painted little flowers on the walls and put like the little glow in the dark stars on the sky, on the ceiling, and it was really cool because at night it looked like the night sky. But I remember that so vividly because it was so inspiring, and it was something that was cool to see my mom painting the walls in such a creative way, and it inspired me to be creative. So not even just the earthy aspect of it, but the wall painting aspect. But yeah, I don't know, I just want to share that story because I feel like just those simple experiences, those memories are just such core memories and so important, and they reflect in our work in ways that I don't think we notice all the time. But yeah. Oh, and as you can see, I made a little Monstera mug. Isn't she so pretty? I started a subscription club where each month people will get like different themed subscriptions, and this theme for this month was the Monstera theme, and I love how the mug came out, and I'm so happy that someone signed up. I feel so validated and so seen, and yeah, but it's really cool because again, I have that Monstera plant, and now I made a mug that's very similar to it. So don't underestimate the things that inspire you. You finding inspiration, you living, experiencing the world is a form of productivity, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. subscription order. If you don't know, earlier this month I launched subscriptions on my website, which essentially is just you get monthly items like monthly mug, monthly stickers, monthly print, and there's like a whole variety of tiers. And this person got the mug tier, which comes with a monthly mug and 2 stickers. And this person has also been just a supporter of my art for almost 2 years at this point. They have prints from me, they have hoodies from me, they have a tattoo inspired by my art. So it's really cool to be able to ship them monthly things too. Like, it's an honor. I'm so grateful. And yeah, so this just makes me happy. It feels like a big milestone, because when I started subscriptions, I really wasn't sure if anybody would be interested in signing up for any of the tiers. So to be proven wrong and to have someone, a little kindred spirit that I can ship little monthly items to, it feels really exciting, and I'm very, very happy and proud. And yeah, and this is just a reminder to not let your intrusive thoughts win. I think we all have thoughts that are just like, oh, is this too silly? Is this too stupid? Will anybody want this? And the answer is, people want your ideas. You should bring your ideas to life, because you never know who will resonate with, you never know who you'll connect with. And I think that's really, really cool. So always keep chasing your ideas, entertaining your seemingly silly ideas, because they can lead to beautiful connections and beautiful moments, and to you feeling proud and you being happy that you did your thing. So yeah, cheers to this first subscription order, and cheers to you chasing your dreams. I always like to think that it is such a beautiful thing, a magical thing, to be able to create something out of nothing. And as artists, the fact that we do that with our own little brains, I think that is insane. And it takes a lot of power, a lot of passion, a lot of dedication, a lot of skill, a lot of determination. And I feel like that is enough. That is more than enough. And I feel like for the longest time, at least for me, I've always felt like being an artist wasn't enough. I wasn't doing enough work. I wasn't working hard enough because of what I viewed to be hard work. And the thing is, I will say that drawing can take a toll on your body, and it is important to rest. I have started doing stretches before I actually start to draw, because of my shoulders and just my neck and the pain that comes from it, but maybe that's just me getting old. But the point is that art is work, art is valid. You creating art is a valid, productive thing. And I know that there are many of us who were told otherwise growing up. And so I'm here to be that little voice in your head, just in case no one has told you, just in case you haven't told yourself, that you are valuable, capable, and worthy of taking up space, doing what you love and doing what you're passionate about. And by being surrounded by that, and by what you do, what you're passionate for, that is productive enough. And you have always been enough. And you are always drawn to the things that you are meant to be drawn to. It is meant to be. You are meant to be an artist. And that is something that is special in its own right. And I feel like in this world, it is not said enough, not appreciated enough. And so I'm here to tell you that you are more than enough, and you are capable, and to keep going, and to also take care of yourself, and to remember that you work hard enough. You, if you have spent time on your craft today, this week, like, you have done your thing, you know? And yeah, I just want to be that word of encouragement, because I know what it's like to feel like I'm not worthy to take up space, and no one should feel that way, because art is just as valid as anything else in this world. coolest thing about allowing myself to have dedicated time to work on my projects every day is that I always seem to come up with something new, which is super exciting. For instance, with this painting I've been working on in this video, I decided to draw a bunch of intricate lines on the face, and I feel like this was a brilliant idea to sort of add depth and interest, and also it's something that I realize is one of my strengths. Like, I've always been really interested in pattern design and implementing that in different areas. I think that's why I'm so drawn to like my mug designs and just creating different designs for different things, and so implementing it into my own paintings felt like the right thing to do. So I started just playing around with that and using that. And I want to ask you, what do you think one of your artistic strengths is? Mine, I feel like, is maybe composition and pattern design, but what if yours is like anatomy or shape language or something really cool? Yeah, like, don't be afraid to play to your strengths. I feel like pattern design has always been something that I have been drawn to since I was little. Like, I've always done these little swirlies in my little notebooks in middle school and stuff like that. And now it's funny how they make a reappearance in my art today. But again, it comes back to it's meant to be. Like, these little core memories, they're there for a reason, and I feel like that's so special. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you feel like your artistic superpower is, and I want to hear them. I do, because I believe you guys have some amazing ones. But this is all coming back to the beauty of taking things slow and having time to nurture your craft, but not rushing through it, because then you're able to have this intentional time where you get to think about why you're doing certain things, and you end up learning a lot about yourself in the process and learning from yourself too. Like, I've never really thought about why I always do those swirlies, and I forgot until really doing this voiceover that I used to do them in middle school, and how this has been a trend for a while. So just pouring into your art, pouring into your craft, and allowing yourself to be intentional can allow you to learn a lot of lessons from yourself and reflect on your life, which I think is crucial, because I think that the artistic journey is a lifelong journey full of learning and growing and evolving, and to be able to have paintings and memories that reflect that is just something that is so wonderful, and that not everybody can say that they have. And so I feel like it's something that we should cherish. I feel like our craft is just something that's like no other, and I think that is the loveliest thing, because it means that it's like a diamond. We should cherish it. It's like a little gem. But this all comes back to, what does it mean to be a productive artist, and how does that fall into our craft? And what I think to be a productive artist means is to pour into your craft, however that may be. As long as you are taking time to nourish your craft, to nourish yourself, to fuel your own cup, to fuel your body, to take care of yourself, you're being productive. It isn't about your milestones, how much you've gotten done, how many paintings you've done this year, how many things you've accomplished. It's about how you feel about your work, how you feel about yourself when you approach the canvas. Does it feel healing? And paying attention to those feelings, I feel like that is productive. I think cherishing yourself, cherishing the things that you love, cherishing your process is productive. Cherishing the things that inspire you, pouring into the things that give you inspiration. Like, for me, it's plants, but for you, it could be crystals. It could be all kinds of different things. But pouring into your hobbies and those different things that fill your cup is also productive. And no matter how fast or slow you paint, the fact that you made progress and showed up this week, this month, this year, shows that you had at least an ounce of productivity in you, no matter what anybody says. So I feel like that's what it means to be a productive artist. I also think it's just a different definition for each person, and that it's important for us to come up with our own definitions of what productivity means to us, because we all have our own different needs, our own different capacities, our own different experiences, and those all fall into the way that we navigate our art and even the type of art that we create. And so that becomes a whole different story, right? But yeah, I want to just thank you so much for being here, for having this conversation with me, for hanging out with me while I doodle and make things, and just for being here and for listening. And I really hope that this video was able to bring you a little bit of comfort and a little bit of joy. And thank you so much for watching. I also hope that you like how the painting's coming along, because I'm loving it so far. And yeah, until next time, I will see you in the next video.